Yeah, so welcome, big warm welcome to Angus Macleod.
Thanks, Matt, for having me.
Yeah, not a problem at all. For people that don't know Angus, he's an auctioneer pretty much throughout the state and into ACT. You're a broadacre salesperson as well, so you're a man of many tricks.
Some,
yeah. So we've at Rain and Horn had Angus performing auctions for us for a number of years now, probably three or 4 years.
Yep.
Throughout that time, we've had a great deal of success because of your professionalism and obviously our marketing skills to attract the right buyers. So today we're here to talk about why auction.
Yeah, certainly.
So you've been doing auction for so many years. Why does it work so well?
I think the thing with auction is that it brings certainly the marketing to a head. Also, it gets the buyers ready. They've got to get their finance ready. They've got to mentally be ready. They've got to do all their due diligence. They don't put it off. It also allows the vendor to have a time in their mind that they've got to work towards as well. So it's all the initial thing is about timing, and for the agent as well. It's it's all about them being able to manage their time as well, to be able to do those 4 or 5 week marketing and then have the auction campaign. And auction's not always on the auction day. It's a 3-pronged attack. You can sell prior, sell on the day, as we've done numerous times, or as a result of that, essentially market research that you've been doing, you'll sell it to those parties after the auction.
Yeah, and when you talk about auctions, on many occasions, a vendor or a potential vendor goes, "Oh, I've been to heaps of auctions that it wasn't successful," and at that time they're looking at that day and time when the property was auctioned under the hammer. But if I could go to a vendor and say, "Look, I can have your house sold in 6 weeks for a very good market price," most people would be pretty open to that idea, wouldn't they?
They certainly would be. I think there's most probably a bit of hesitancy from vendors and actually buyers alike, because not every agency can actually do auction well. Because auction's not just about the auction day, it's about yourself and the rest of your team at Rain and Horn being able to prepare not only the property for market, being able to talk to the vendor during that process, but also talking to the buyers, because you've got to make sure that you get the relationship built with both of those so that you come the day, you can talk to them.
Yeah, and look at it so you look at the benefits for a vendor, as you said, you've got a time frame, so you've got a day that you can say, we're going to sell that property on that day, but it can happen before, on the day or after.
Mm-hmm.
So for a buyer as well, there's a lot of transparency around the process. So if they're there on the day bidding, they can eyeball their competition.
Yep.
They can understand where the market is, and they can feel confident that if other people are bidding to a certain point, that they think the market is at that level. So, and for a vendor, they know they've got the property sold on that day if it sells.
Yep.
And for the buyer, they know that they're guaranteed to get the property if they're the highest bidder. So, unless they haven't quite met the reserve. But, so there's a lot of benefits in the process. So you've seen a lot of auctions obviously you're travelling to Canberra a little bit for auctions. You've done many in this area. So it's very popular at the moment.
It's very popular, and I mean, as you're aware, and the property market is hot across most sectors, and the COVID pandemic hasn't affected regionally Australia to a point at all. If anything, it's having a reverse effect because you're getting what they call the green change. There's a bit of an influx from people coming out of the regional areas, Sydney, Melbourne, those sort of places, wanting to get cheaper housing, having a better lifestyle for their kids or family, and or just coming back to the regional areas where they grew up. So there's a lot more market demand coming in there with the same amount of supply. So the demand and supply curve changes, and it's an upward pressure on pricing.
Yeah, and if you look at the market at the moment, there's multiple buyers in many different pricing, price areas and locations and so forth. In this situation, in an auction, you can secure the property on that day, so there isn't a situation where you make an offer and then someone's over the top of you and that sort of stuff. It's done in a controlled environment. The misconception, is that there's people in there making bids that are not interested in the property. There's legislation around who's registered these days. Identification has to be provided. So anyone, a buyer or potential bidder at an auction, can be confident that the people that are there bidding are qualified And that gives them a lot of confidence that they're in a process that's very well controlled. And that's the bit I'm sure you like about it now compared to the way it may have been 20 years ago.
Well, look, certainly it has changed because of the regulations, which I think has been a positive thing from a market transparency point of thing. Certainly gone are the days we could pull a bit off a tree and increase it when you felt like it. But New South Wales is quite unique in that we only have the one vendor bid as well. So you're only getting that one opportunity as a vendor to be able to exercise that option, which mostly gives the buyers more comfort as well, knowing that they are literally dealing with the marketplace.
Yeah, so look, when we talk about auction today, it's a fantastic option for vendors. But if you're a buyer out there that's looking to buy, do your research, get all your checks done, and turn up and bid confidently at an auction, because the excitement's there, but you know where your limit is, and you know if you grab it on that day that you bought the home and the sold sticker goes on it. And,
That's right.
It's your first home or your second home, and it's an exciting time. So thanks for joining us today and imparting a bit of knowledge about the auction process, and we'll catch you next time.